Subscribe today at truckhubmagazine.com. You won't regret it. Okay guys, so you got a little sneak peek into the promo for Truck Hub Mag that I'm doing. So you're getting a first-hand look at Truck Hub Magazine. This is issue number 3, and it's really a coffee table magazine. As you can see here, it is super high quality, beautiful binding. The pictures and stories are amazing. Honestly, it's got everything you're looking for from a truck magazine. This is a quarterly magazine, definitely meant for the coffee table, something you want to keep out for your friends to enjoy and to see. So if you haven't, head over to truckhubmagazine.com, subscribe today. I promise you won't be sorry. What's up guys? Well, today I'm excited. We're back with an intro to a build that one of a kind for the channel, and it's gonna happen quickly. So I know you guys are pumped about that. I'm at the house right now. Just jumped in Gus. We got a bed full of parts and a truck that don't want to run. Woo, squeaky belt. There we go. We got a bed full of parts. We got a trailer full of tires. Show you those when we get to the shop. But I think you guys are gonna be pretty excited about this. So we're gonna jump on it now, and we'll see you at the shop.
Driving down the road and it's like $4,800 worth of wheels and tires, and then you're
What do you mean? These windshield wipers work perfectly. All right guys, welcome to United by Trucks. Today we're here to talk about Big D, and we're super excited because this is actually the first four-wheel drive and the first OBS that we're actually gonna build on the channel. So yes, we've got the van that's four-wheel drive. Yes, I've had a pace truck on the channel and owned it, but this is the first one that we're gonna be able to actually put our little touch on and do it pretty quickly. And I know Mike is super jacked.
heck yeah, man.
So we're going to show you a lot of the parts that we're eventually going to put on this thing. We're thinking probably in the next couple of weeks we'll get in here and start doing the deal on it. But we're going to go through some of the parts with you today. But before we do that, man, Mike, how did I even end up with this thing?
So I bought it from a gentleman I work with, and it was an old gentleman's truck. He used it for hauling his camper around, and it just kind of fallen in disrepair over the years. It stopped running right, and then the guy at my work bought it. And he's like, one day he goes, man, I got this old diesel truck for sale. You know, would you be interested in it? So I'll have to come look at it or whatever. And I looked at it, and he wanted like $2,000 for it or something. And I was like, like $800, you know? Yeah. And he was like, oh, you give me $1,000 and you can have it. So I bought it for $1,000, and it needed a whole new fuel system. The lift pump was burned up in it. The fuel filter housing had a bunch of leaks in it. And the wiring was shot for it. So we redid all that, put a new fuel tank in it, got it running, and then Robbie decided that he loved it so much.
I pulled up at the shop one day and I was like, oh, what is this old dirty OBS? Because I really like dirty OBSs. And the cool thing, I think the even cooler thing about this is, while this is a K2500 light duty, so if you guys know anything about four-wheel drive OBS trucks, this truck is a 6-lug 2500, and really the main, I mean, it might have some updated brake stuff up front, but really the main difference in this and a 1500 is it has a 14-bolt semi-float rear end, and this one actually was ordered with a 4L80. So even a lot of, based on my research, a lot of K2500 light duties would come with a 4L60, but you could special order, obviously, the 4L80. So this one got it. The other cool option that this thing has that you could get in the 1500, but this has the 6.5 turbo diesel, and I'm just super jacked about that. So Mike got an all new fuel system in it, got this thing running. I think it runs really well. We're gonna go drive it around here in just a minute and let you guys decide. We'll even drop a cold start in right here. Thing hadn't been started in 2 weeks. Oh yeah. A little puff of smoke. truck reminds me so much of the truck I actually learned to drive on. So in 1995, my dad bought a white Z71 extended cab with gray interior as, you know, his daily driver. Well, I learned to drive on that truck before I got my S10, and this truck just brings me back to all those, you know, memories. So I'm really excited about this thing. I'm gonna grab the camera from Anna, and we're gonna walk around it real quick, and then we're gonna go for a ride. So let's do that. Okay, so this is the interior I was telling you about. And while the outside obviously has the paint, clear coat, you know, a lot of it is down to the primer, it's actually really straight. There's one spot over on the door, probably a couple other spots that I just hadn't noticed yet, but interior kind of dirty, but not completely ripped up. We're gonna have it cleaned up, but this is the gray interior I was talking about. It reminds me so much of my dad's truck, old truck. So cool thing is the dash on these trucks get really, really banged up. This one's got a few little hairline cracks right here, but it's not falling apart like the one on the Pace truck was. But I'm just really thrilled about this thing. So I'm gonna drop a picture in right here to show you what it looked like when Mike actually brought it to the shop. Still had the factory steel wheels on it, which are actually in the back under this camper shell, but it didn't have the camper shell on it, and it didn't have these wheels on it. So I decided, you know what, I want to put some bullet holes on it for now while I drive it around until we get our full plan realized. So I found these 17x9 Eagle alloys on Marketplace with these Bridgestone tires. So we threw those on really quick. I'm really sorry I missed your whole rant on like what day and age these wheels are. I missed the whole thing.
2010.
That's true, because they're 17s.
They're 17.
They're not 15-inch.
Not 15.
Marietta, Georgia.
Yeah, so I think that obviously made it look a lot better. But because of the approach that we're taking with this specific build, which I'll get into in just a minute, I wanted to get a camper shell, and I wanted to get a period correct camper shell. So this shell came off an 88 to 98 truck. It was out of Arizona. So really solid Raider Rebel. And yeah, it's part of the Thomas collection. I have no idea what that means, but cool shell. Obviously don't have a light hooked up or anything, but it's got this felt in it here that you cannot even see at all. So anyway, we'll show you that in the daylight. But factory steelies are in the back, and I think we got a pretty good canvas to build this in to what we want. But Mike's standing up front, so let's go take a look under the hood, and he's going to tell us a few more things that we need to do to it to kind of get it in tip-top shape so that we can trust it out on the road. But 6.5 turbo diesel, 4L80. It's got definitely over 250,000 miles, but we'll show you in a minute, or as we've shown you in the cold start, it fires right up. A little bit of puff of smoke, but this thing runs up and down the road really well. Mike, what are the other things we need to do to kind of get it in a little bit more tip-top shape?
Part of the issue with the 6.5 diesel was it didn't make a ton of power. For the time, it made pretty decent power compared to everything else that was on the market. Like the Cummins made comparable power. The Power Stroke, it was a little more. I think Power Stroke was like 250 for this year, 250 horsepower, like 500 foot-pounds of torque. But this motor made anywhere from 175 to 215 horsepower and like 440 foot-pounds of torque out of this motor. But the big selling point of it was the fuel economy. Like, these things got incredible fuel economy. You could bebop around all day in this thing and almost burn no fuel in it.
Right.
When I was in college, a friend of mine drove one of these, and he was getting like 20, 22 miles a gallon, you know, back in the early 2000s. But there wasn't a big aftermarket support for these motors. You couldn't get like a giant injection pump and a huge turbo, because it would just spit the crank out of it. So it's pretty much the way you see it is the way you're gonna get it.
Yeah, do a little exhaust, do a little air intake, you're gonna get a little more power out of it. But we're really looking for reliability, and I'll take some decent fuel mileage with 400 foot-pounds of torque, if it's even got that anymore.
It's wore in now, so it's probably got like 450.
Oh, look out, look out.
Part of the issue with these motors was, one, the fuel system. It does have a lift pump on it, so the lift pump power came from the oil pressure sender. So if you dropped oil pressure in the motor, it would shut the lift pump off, which essentially shut the fuel off. But the oil pressure sender wasn't designed to carry the load of the lift pump. So after a while, the oil pressure sender would stop working, which would shut your lift pump off, which would kill the motor. Other issues were the factory fuel bowl wasn't a good design, so it had a bunch of O-rings in it. They would leak after time. The injection pump was actually pretty stout on these. It got a bad rap because people didn't know how to do proper maintenance to them. The fuel in a diesel is like, it's super imperative that you get good clean fuel, good clean filtration on the fuel, because if you get like even the smallest micron of crap in your injection pump, it's going to tear it right up. But other than that, on these motors, they were pretty reliable. Other than them couple things, the harmonic balancer was an issue. After a while, the rubber would shrink and the balancer would come apart. And when that would happen, you would instantly snap the crankshaft on it. So
yeah, we don't want to do any of that.
Yeah, we need to address that as soon as possible. We're going to update the electronics for the fuel system. So we're going to actually run the lift pump off its own relay with key-on power and all that. We're going to actually change the fuel filter. You can see the fuel filter bowl and filter back here. We're going to change it, put an aftermarket bowl on there to make it a little more user-friendly. And 4-inch exhaust, straight pipe.
Turbo back.
Turbo back, get it breathing good, a little more efficiency. And then we're going to do cold air intake on it also. One other thing you'll notice is this fill solenoid driver sitting up here. Normally on a factory application, this was done underneath the motor, and these would get like ridiculously hot and burn up. So the aftermarket come out with these years ago. They mounted up here on the intake and all these cooling fins and everything to help it keep it cool, so they didn't burn up while you're out bebopping around. If you buy one of these trucks and it doesn't have that, that'd be the first thing you do.
Absolutely.
But other than that, I mean, it's pretty. You already got Hydro Boost brakes. You know, you could probably add an intercooler if you wanted to get that far into it, but we're not going to be hauling big heavy loads in this. So
we're in fact, we're thinking we're going to do what with it?
We're going to build an overlander rig.
Yeah, man. Take it off-road a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to go camping.
Yeah, so we're going to do some different stuff with this thing. Kind of a little different than what we've done with the lowered square body, lowered C10 thing. We're going to do the OBS 4-wheel drive overlanding off-road kind of build. So speaking of that, let's why don't we go talk about some parts real quick, and then we're going to go drive around in this thing. So one thing we forgot to tell you guys, I got to fix this real quick, make sure y'all can't see that fuzz hanging down. Maybe we leave it up, take it down, whatever.
I want to know who Thomas is and what he's collecting.
Well, apparently he's collecting camper shells. But one thing we forgot to tell you guys, and I got to give Mike props on this, because even after we made the trade and started talking about what we're going to do to this thing, he got to thinking about what he would like to name it. Because I'm terrible with names, and you know, you'll end up with something like UBTK5 or some ridiculous with an acronym. Anyway, we came up, or Mike came up with Big D. And Mike, why did you come up with Big D?
So this truck was like conceptualized in Detroit. It's got Detroit diesel motor in it, and we're going to put some Detroit steel wheels on it.
Yes, we are, and I can't wait to show them to you. We don't have them here yet, but I'm going to drop a picture in right here where you can see them. And speaking of that, we're going to go out here and show you what we're going to wrap those Detroit steel wheels in and some of the other stuff we got. But that's why we named the thing Big D.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Detroit diesel, GM in Detroit, Detroit steel wheels. It's perfect. And it's easy.
And we're hoping it's not going to be a big giant disappointment.
That's exactly what we're hoping. And you guys are going to help us make it successful. Here we go. All right, so now that we got the winch fixed, new cable. Saw some folks are showing up out here. Don't know who they are. Ooh. And now we're going to talk about all the stuff we got going for the OBS build. Like I said, it's something we're hoping to get done next couple of weeks. I think it'll really just take a full day to get the lift kit, wheels and tires, maybe get some of the other stuff going. But these are the meat for the truck. These are General Grabber X3s. These are their off-road tire. We're gonna give you a lot more in-depth specifics about these tires once we get them wrapped around the wheels, but these are 295 70/18, so it's about a 34.5-inch tire, and I think that will go perfectly on the lift that we have planned for the truck. So obviously General Grabber X3s, these are tier 1 off-road tires, super awesome, love the aggressive sidewall. Can't wait to get these bad boys on the Detroit Steel wheels. So more about that to come. While I'm circling around the trailer, had a couple of banners in the back of the truck. This is a banner from Sweet Patina. Super cool Rat Fink-ish kind of vibe on it. And then speaking of Detroit Steel wheel, we had this mammoth made so we could rep Detroit Steel because, well, we got them on the Blazer, they've been on Teddy, we're gonna put them on other trucks. So, what's up, Churchill?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Saw you roll up in Rust Turd. Looks like you brought Rick with you. Where y'all been?
What's up?
Where you been?
We were at lunch for like 14 hours.
Good Lord, man. I just saw you this morning and then it was like y'all were just gone.
I know.
You know, gone to eat all day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna dive into all these parts we got in the back of the truck for the OBS. So let me switch cameras and we'll get on that. Hey, Rimbo. Hey, what's up? Haven't seen you since C10 Fall Revival. You looking cute. How you doing?
I'm good.
Looking awesome.
I really did have a 14-hour lunch today.
You did.
Yeah.
That's what I
Had
hear.
to wait for so long.
Tupelo honey. Don't go there if you got 5 people and want to sit outside. Man, it's so nice having everybody in here. It's kind of cool. Okay, so I'm not going to open every box in here. I'm going to actually open this one last. For my boys at Sweet Patina, I'll open that last. But we got some mirrors, because if you don't know anything about an OBS, well, the mirrors are always busted. We need some new mirrors. These are not the gigantic tow mirrors, even though they say tow mirrors. Actually, I don't think they are. I thought I ordered something. Thought I ordered something a little more street scene-ish. Let's open it up and check it out. What Mike's messing with though is a critical thing for the look of the truck. We're actually going with a rough country 4-inch lift all the way around on the truck. So it's going to help us get up over these roughly 34s, and I think give us a good ride and give us the good performance. Yeah, so these are more like,
It's not a tow mirror.
I mean, it's
a regular ass mirror.
It's just an old regular mirror. Maybe it slides out or
It's a
something.
regular bleep mirror.
So this is the style mirror we're going with on it. I don't know if we'll paint them white or leave them black, but that's them.
They're
Cheap-
too shiny right now.
Cheap eBay
They're
mirrors
too shiny to be on that truck right
for
now.
sure. So cheap eBay mirrors.
Yeah.
The other critical piece outside of the rough country lift, which apparently has something super heavy on it, because can we move this box? Yeah, all it's coming out. Is this Diamond Eye 4-inch turbo back diesel exhaust. So we're putting this on there to get a little bit more power and obviously a lot more sound, because what you're hearing now from the truck is directly from the motor and not from the exhaust pipe. It's kind of crazy how quiet that thing is at the exhaust pipe. So Diamond Eye 4-inch turbo back exhaust.
What is exactly a diamond eye?
I have no idea. It's the brand. That's all I know.
Yeah.
And then my favorite part, because as you guys learned in the first part of the video, yeah, we're gonna put wood in there too. As you guys learned in the first part of the video, that is a K2500 light duty. So it does not actually, you know, I would just call it like, you know, a baby 2500, because one part that I really love about the actual 2500 8-lug trucks is they have fender flares. So I found these factory style fender flares on eBay as well, and we're gonna paint these white, put them on the truck. We got 4 of them, go all the way around. It's not the ones with the holes, you know, that kind of like bushwhackers or whatever those are. These are, yeah, these are literally the factory style, and yeah, it should look great on the truck. And then I think this is probably more rough country stuff. We're gonna do a full install and a review of this kit, so I'm not gonna go into all this stuff just yet. But
More rough country.
more rough country.
I don't know what that was.
Is that one rough country too?
Yeah.
Man, how far are we making? Are we taking this thing to the moon?
Man, we're gonna try. Maybe they meant 4 inches from the moon, not 4 inches closer to the moon. All right, so we got everything unloaded, and I wanted to open this up from our friends over at Sweet Patina. I think I know what's in here. and I'm gonna use it if it is what I think it is. Oh yeah. So if you know anything about the guys at Sweet Patina, they're always trying to come up with some cool products that help guys in their shop, like getting a lid on their TKO hand cleaning wipes. So we're gonna put these out. Wow, I'm just making a gigantic mess of this here at the shop and use them. Mike won't use them because his new name is Dirty Mike, which means he's just always dirty. And you guys already know that. So got a little bit of grit in them. I don't have, my hands aren't like too dirty, but got a little bit of grit in them so you can get some of the nasty stuff off your hands. And yeah, and they smell awesome. I know you guys can smell that. Thanks, Blake. Now now we've shown you kind of the plan. Rough country 4-inch lift, 34-inch General Grabber X3s, fender flares, diamond eye exhaust, new tow mirrors. We're gonna go drive you around in this thing, let you get a feel for this Detroit diesel, and hopefully you'll be able to hear us because I don't have our mics, and I don't know how, I can't even remember how loud this thing is inside the truck.
It's whisper quiet.
Is it? All right. Even though it's 14-bolt semi-float.
No burnouts.
No burnouts. Last time Mike did a burnout, well, the box truck hadn't moved since.
It's moved.
Oh, that's true. You did pull it over here with a
Yeah.
dang.
We towed it over here.
Pulled it over here with a tow strap. Hold on, let me get back here. A little more smoke than normal. What'd he say? I did? Well, this might be the first disappointment. Mike was pulling the truck out and ran over my beer. Sorry, Yingling. Comes with a storage box.
Oh, what is this?
A socket.
8mm? It is a 8mm. What is that?
This was the seat cover that was on this seat.
Ooh.
Here's some center caps and some other piece of something.
Lego.
Yeah, we got all sorts of things on.
Shit in Andrew's yard. Oops,
Where'd Brembo?
He follows Mike out here.
he was just behind the truck.
Yeah, now I don't see him.
Oh, he's right there.
Yeah. A little smoky.
You have your phone again.
We're not going far.
I know, you just never know.
That's true.
I mean,
Especially when you're riding in something
it
that's
could be that
not
harmonic balancer, probably like F it.
too late now.
Let's bleep it. Anna, go away.
Alright,
I
bye.
can't believe that.
Golly.
That was awesome.
Did you wash the windshield on this?
I did, yes. Look, I feel like a raccoon's been on it since I washed it. I have no idea what this angle is, but I think we're all good.
Cash on you?
I don't have my wallet on me. But you need something?
No, I'm saying we could blast it to the power washer real quick.
I don't know if I got time for all that.
Oh, okay.
I've already been hit with the, what's your ETA? But I will grab my wallet just in case. What'd you say? I'll wait here? He was asking about the wheels when they were coming. And I'm not real sure, but they're coming.
I'm sure Emma's in the back just like pointing fingers at people.
Just making it happen. All right, guys, so we are in Big D. Me and Mike have ridden in the truck before, but and we got some iffy tires, so that's a big question here. But we want to just get out and ride around in it. So try to get Mike's opinion on this 4L80 and make sure it's operating like it ought to. I think the exhaust is going to make a huge difference in this thing.
Yeah. Hopefully it really opens it up, you know.
That's what I'm hoping for. Probably should have let this thing get real warm. I'd like to see if there's any smoke coming out the back, but I couldn't currently do that because, as you guys know, all side mirrors in an OBS are toast.
Yeah.
Man, this reminds me of my dad's truck so much. This thing has even got the factory tape deck in it. It's had nothing manipulated. I've even tried all the four-wheel drive stuff. It all works perfectly.
Did your dad's truck have a diesel?
No, my dad's just that old TBI 350. You know, I didn't even know back then that you could get the 6.5 diesel in a half-ton truck. It's good. Thing just, man, I love the way it sounds. This thing definitely ain't no speed demon by any stretch of the imagination. But we're going to continue to tune it up, continue to try to do some of the simple mods like Mike described earlier to wake it up. Definitely the suspension and the tires on it are currently what's really killing it. The front shock bolts are, well, the front shocks aren't even connected to the front.
Not at all.
So we're getting a little bit of that bounce as we drive it, but man, I love this
Well,
thing.
you know, like, if you're looking for an OBS, these things are basically on the bottom of everybody's wish list. So if you're like, I want to get into OBS, but I can't afford to get into like that upper echelon of OBSs, this could be a viable candidate.
Oh man,
you know?
no doubt. I mean, these guys know we've done some OBS videos, especially like when we did the Submit Your Truck videos, where there's some really killer OBSs out there. People are really starting to pay attention to them, but this is still a truck you can get into relatively inexpensively.
Yeah.
You know, you've just done that recently with a truck we'll talk about later, and you know, you can get into these things for reasonable prices. And as you heard Mike talk about this one when he got it, super cheap, needed a fuel system, put a fuel system in it, and here we are, you know, driving the thing down the road. Not to say that we don't have other things that we've got to address, but I mean, you can get in this truck and fire it up and go down the road.
Yeah.
So there's, that would have been second. I think that was third. I may have to stop up here and do it again. Ah, that was fourth. Yeah.
It's just, the shift's so smooth.
Yeah, it's just so smooth. Yeah, man, we're doing 65 right now. I'll roll this up just in case they can't hear me. So the windows roll up and down nicely, which is great. All the AC is still intact, so we're gonna get that charged up. But
Vent shades flopping over
that
here.
vent shade's flopping. We're gonna put some good vent shades back on this thing. That's the one thing I loved about my dad's. But yeah, I mean, we were just doing 65 miles an hour in fourth gear, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Man, I love the way that thing sounds.
Do you think that guy in that brand new Duramax is jelly?
Nah, he ain't even noticed us.
No, he's jealous.
What's funny is that, well, I have a new Duramax, and I mean, I'm looking at stuff like this OBS 4 right here every time I go down the road. You know, new trucks have a purpose, and we use ours for that purpose. But there's something about an old truck, man. And even your LBZ dually, that thing is just rad, man. It's just such cool trucks. Have you ridden in it like this? Because I think all we've done is gone down the road in it, like just right by the shop. We haven't like gotten out and driven it around, I don't think.
I mean, this is the first time I felt the transmission hit all four gears.
Yeah, so, which is why I jumped in it the other day. I was like, man, we're about to build this thing. I probably need to make sure I don't need to jerk the trans out on this thing.
I mean, if I could just buy semi-cheap old trucks and not even have to drive them and then resell them to my buddies,
That's the way to go.
That would be perfect.
And I'm the perfect candidate. I come rolling up, I'm like, oh, $2,000 truck, I'm in.
Gimme.
Yeah, I'm a sucker. So yeah, right now, they just shifted at about 2,300 RPMs. Doing 55, about almost 55. Downshifted into third, and then now we're in fourth. Yeah, we're rolling along. Man, this thing actually rides good, especially like once you get it up to speed.
It's not a lumber wagon like you thought it would be.
Yeah, and there's, I mean, this thing. So how long do you think it sat?
Oh, I think the last registration was 2013.
Okay, so yeah, man, that's 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what's so crazy about these motors. Like you were saying, if you give them the right fuel, you know, they've at least, I mean, this thing's been driven 264,000 miles. So, you know, somebody was getting that kind of longevity out of this thing. We're going to take it and try to get, you know, get some more mileage out of it. But yes, that's a lot of miles, but to me, it lets me know that the thing was working.
Yeah.
Until it didn't, and they parked it.
Right.
You know, something was up with the fuel system and they parked it.
Yeah.
But once you got that worked out, good clean fuel getting into it, you know, it's got all the, I don't know.
But in a Detroit diesel, I mean, if you don't over rev it, like if you keep it below 3,000 RPMs,
Yeah,
this thing will run forever.
that's what I'm thinking too.
You keep the oil in it, because you know what they say about a Detroit diesel, if it ain't leaking oil, it's because it's out of it.
Well, you know what's crazy? Is this thing doesn't even leak oil.
Oh, it don't?
No.
We might need to pull over and check.
I've already checked it.
I mean, we're holding good
Oil pressure. It's, you know, that's been about where the temp was the other day. Is that the temp was around 210. I checked the oil, made sure it had plenty of oil. It's black as night, so it probably needs to be changed, but it's got good oil pressure. It's got a full tank of gas, and we did the little 2-stroke trick to, you know, clean out the injector. So we got a quarter two-stroke in there, which maybe why it's smoking a little bit more than normal. But yeah, 40 pounds of oil pressure at idle, 210, you know, a little less than 210, up to 210 when you're moving, and then great voltage. Truck's got a tack, obviously, and yeah, just drives like normal.
Yeah.
I think we'll be able to give it a little bit more power to help compensate for some of the extra weight that we're going to be throwing on it. But man, I'm happy as I can be. I'm ready to go do some trips in this thing, go camping in this thing.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for us. Hope you enjoyed this episode of United by Trucks. Hope you guys will tune in for the first OBS, first four-wheel drive build that we're actually going to get done on the channel. I know we got a lot of projects in the queue. We're going to do a project update video where I'm actually going to show you the projects in the shop and in all the other storage areas and at home where I have trucks. So just kind of give you an update on, hey, this is where we have that 73 Burb. It's still here. We haven't done anything to it. Or this is what we got going on the van, or this is what we've got going on the F100, or this is what we don't have going at all, and it's just here in storage waiting its turn. So we're trying to get geared back up on some projects, and so we can bring you some wrenching videos to the United by Trucks channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Definitely leave a comment. Let us know what you think about our plans for this 1994 K2500 light duty. Let us know down in the comments what you think of our plans. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button if you like what we got going. If you don't, hit the thumbs down button. I don't really care. I just like the engagement. So appreciate you guys. We'll catch up with you next time right here on United by Trucks. Bye. Bye.
Cue the music.